Turn on the radio, and most rap and top 40 songs have lyrics that can be a bit racy, a bit explicit. Today, we'll show you a different take on that situation. I'm going to introduce you to a guy who's making waves, rapping and singing about, wait for it, computer programming. You'll also meet an IT professional who has information you need to know when it comes to making sure you and your kids are safe in today's digital world. Plus, we'll explain what STEM is and why African Americans should learn more about this program. Homer McEwen, aka Killer DBA, full disclosure. Your last name is McEwen, my last name is McEwen. Why is that?
Well, it starts with no. I could go into a weird elaboration, but we are cousins because my grandfather and your father are brothers.
There you go.
And
And I have a son named Miles, and you have a son named Miles. Okay. Let me ask you this. Homer, why do you call yourself Killer DBA?
You know, it started a long time ago with my gamer tag with Xbox. I'm a DBA, which is a database administrator. That's my profession, and so I thought in playing Halo online that it would be cool to call myself Killer DBA, but I also in the slang of that's killer, that's killer, dude, that's cool. I thought that it would just be a cool name, a gamer tag in playing Xbox. But as time went on, I had an idea to call myself that as a musician to make music about IT related things, and so it just came about that way.
Homer, your songs are so catchy. You wrote a song called Microsoft SQL Server 2016. What does Microsoft think of all this?
It's funny, when I first created the first song was Microsoft 2016. I did it because where I was working at the time, we knew that we needed to learn this platform because of the new features. And I thought, you know what, I'll have an edge on my teammates if I write a song about it, because I write songs all the time. I knew that I wouldn't forget the lyrics and I would know all the new features. So I did that, and I posted it on YouTube and I tweeted about it and I tagged Microsoft. And in 2 weeks, they sent me a tweet and they said, "Hey, follow us and look for a DM." I honestly thought I was going to get a cease and desist letter because, in my lyrics, I say Microsoft over and over. I say, this just might be Microsoft's biggest leap in technology. So I'm singing about that, but that's not what happened. Basically, they said, "We love you. Are your ears ringing? You're the talk around here in Redmond, Seattle. We love your song. We play it all the time. All the engineers are playing it." And that was just like mind blowing because, I created this song and now the engineers who actually work on this are hearing it and they like it. And so from that led a few meetings. And to make a long story short, I've performed in Seattle at least 3 different occasions at probably 4 or 5 different venues on my IT songs. So yeah, Microsoft, they said they like it. They said that I made them look cool. I'm like, really? Oh, thank you. Okay.
That is in itself Very, very cool. You also make what people might call regular music. Strange Love is a great song. I had to stop listening to it because I was hearing it in my head all day, all day. That's a song you wrote earlier in, tell the story about Strange Love.
So Strange Love is a song that I wrote with my co-writer, Butter B. Rocker, and I love the song. I think it was a great song. I really wanted to channel Andre 3000. That's a long story within itself. I met him a few times, and I knew a few of his producers and people in his circle. And I said, I want to write this song for him. But time went on, and Butter loved the song and said, "Hey, we need to do a video." And so she was actually the creative mind behind the whole treatment for the video, the Alice in Wonderland theme. And we recently shot it, and it's the latest single on her album, and it's called Strange Love. And it's a great song. It's just a fun tune, and it talks about love and how strange love can be, hence the title. And I had so much fun, not just writing it, but we performed it all over Atlanta at different venues.
If you turn on radio, top 40, you'll hear songs about bling bling. You'll hear words that got my mouth washed out with soap when I was a kid. You hear songs about stripper poles, all that. You don't write songs like that. Why not?
Well, I was fortunate enough to, and no judgment on those rappers who rap that way. I do listen to some of it sometimes. I'm pretty old school, but I do listen to some of it because I have a 20-year-old and I try to keep up with what's going on. But I just thought that there was another way to show the youth and others that you can create art that is positive from my relatively speaking, from my perspective, and that's encouraging, that teaches, that uplifts, that you know allows people to aspire to do better.
We're back with Homer McEwen, aka Killer DBA. Homer, the lyrics for a lot of your songs are DBA and IT. I'm in love with an IT girl, but the music is very Atlanta sounding. Tell me also about that.
Well, born and raised in Atlanta, Georgia, and I've always been a fan of music. And the time when I was really into music, Atlanta was making a huge transition. LaFace moved to Atlanta. One of my good friends, who I'm still good friends with today, Shanti Das, who was huge in the music industry, she worked at LaFace Records as a vice president executive vice president of marketing, and she was responsible for marketing Outkast, which my sister was a good friend of Outkast. The first time I met Andre 3000, he was in my parents' living room. And so a good friend of mine, Terry, they call him Timo in the Goody Mob. He and I worked for summer help at Delta together, and I would take him to work, and he and I were good friends. And I have a couple of friends in the music industry that influenced me to want to be in the industry. And when Outkast and Goody Mob came out, it gave Atlanta a chip on our shoulders to say, okay, East and West Coast, we get it, but Atlanta's here and we're doing our own thing. And it gave Atlanta a presence to feel good about being from Atlanta. And so when I wrote my verse to Strange Love, I did have Andre 3000 in mind. And I've met the guys who produce a lot of the music, Organized Noise, Raymond Murray and Rika Wade, Patrick Brown, those guys. And I watched them work, and I really it made me also want to be in the music industry, and which I was for a little bit. It was hard being a DBA and being in the studio at all hours of the night, but I managed to do it for a while, and I did pick up on that, I guess, cadence of flow. A lot of people say it reminds them of Andre 3000 or Big Boy because I like their music and I'm fans of their music, so it makes sense. And I look at that as a compliment. So yeah, I think I still have those influences being from Atlanta. You can hear that in my sound a lot, along with on some of my R&B types of songs, Prince, Stevie Wonder, Michael Jackson, New Edition.
My boys.
Yeah, so I get that a lot. So yeah,
Well, Homer, thanks once again. Great time, great time. And it is a pleasure to have you on this show.
thank you for having me, Mark. Much appreciated. Give my love to the family. Can't wait to come out there and hang out with you all, or you come to Atlanta and hang out with us, and we'll make it a family affair and all that good stuff.
It's a family affair. Be good.
All right, you too. Thank you.
Dr. Kellep Charles, welcome to All Things Men, and thank you for being on our show. You are known as a digital protection expert. You're also the creator and executive editor of SecurityOrb.com. What is SecurityOrb?
Sure. Thank you for having me on here. Security Orb is a platform as well as an organization that works on the awareness of information security, digital privacy, internet safety, as well as STEM related topics. And we do this in a number of ways. One, for example, we put out publications pertaining to issues in security, privacy, or internet safety, and provide some remediation factors of how we can fix those particular problems. We also do a lot of public speakings. We'll go to venues pertaining to kids when it comes to internet safety, as well as events with governments. One of the key things that Security Orb does is that we deal with everything from national security issues all the way down to video games and social media type issues.
We've heard a lot about protecting oneself from hackers and the like, but this is an ongoing problem. How has it evolved from like 5 years ago to now? How have the bad guys evolved in trying to find your information?
Yeah, that's a really good question. And it has a twofold response to it. One, it really hasn't changed too much. Many of the same techniques that they were doing 5 years ago, they're still able to implement those particular techniques to have systems get compromised and people do things that they normally wouldn't do. Again, we have a lot of new entries coming into the digital world, and some of them might not have the exposure or the awareness of how to prevent these things from happening. And a lot of these particular techniques are becoming more sophisticated. For example, when we talk about phishing, we're able to scrape a website to look exactly like your bank website and send you an email saying, hey, we need you to log in. 5 years ago, this was a technique that was somewhat successful, but now with the scraping technology to be able to replicate the site to about 99.9% of a legitimate site, these things are becoming very successful. And again, by bringing awareness to these particular topics, we're letting individuals know certain things to check before clicking a particular link or logging in to a particular website because an email kind of came in and said you should do that.
We're back with Dr. Kellep Charles of SecurityOrb.com. You mentioned phishing. Why is that not against the law?
I mean, technically, it is against the law for the most part, just like certain spam is against the law. The problem is that most of these phishing attacks and spam attacks are coming from overseas, countries that do not have a cybersecurity policy or internet usage policy, across the board. I don't want to mention some of these countries, but these particular countries, they operate in a silo. They do not have any advanced or mature type of laws or policies. So again, individuals from those particular countries are able to move and do these particular functions.
Let's talk about this country. You mentioned STEM. What is STEM education and why is it important to us, African Americans?
STEM stands for science, technology, engineering, and math. And basically, what has been discovered is one, we have a shortage in the United States for individuals that have these particular capabilities. For example, in the cybersecurity field, in engineering fields, currently in 2021, there's a 3.5 million job gap in cybersecurity because we do not have enough individuals to fill those positions. And what STEM does is help bring in the inventory to backfill and help fill these positions. Where do we find these individuals? Again, from the Black, Latino, Native American, and another big group is the females. For a very long time, females have been left out of the STEM ecosystem. So again, it's very important. One, it brings opportunities. It helps create positions and additional jobs. It reduces the national security issue that we have because we don't have enough individuals in the United States to fill these positions. And it also provides another way for individuals to have employment and make a contribution to the world.
Doctor, I have kids and they're like this all day, looking at their phones. What advice can you give to other parents to help protect their kids from the bad guys?
And one of the key things is that we emphasize that anything that you post on the internet stays on the internet forever. So think twice before posting pictures or information that might come back to hurt you. I mean, we've had individuals that have missed scholarship opportunities as well as job opportunities because of the posting that they do. And there are many organizations that HR companies hire that will go and scrape all your social media activities and provide that information to them within a report. And of course, passwords. A lot of things that we see in the internet safety space is that individuals are sharing passwords with their friends. Something goes wrong between that particular friendship, and the other individual starts posting certain things that are detrimental to that individual's, where they could get suspended, fired, or even in trouble with law enforcement. So we always say your password is yours. You need to keep it. And the only person that you should be sharing your password with is your parents at the very least. And, there are tons of other information. I have it all on the securityorb.com website. But the thing that we normally ask parents to do is, and again, we do have this particular form on the website, is create a contract as you as a parent and providing this asset to your child, and the child using that particular assets, where they have a set of rules and responsibilities that both of you guys will follow. And again, it usually helps with talking points for the parents, and it usually provides some information to the child user, knowing that, hey, we went over this, and I know that if I do violate this, it's hard for me to say I didn't know about it. And those particular contracts, parent and child contract, usually serve a very good mechanism to kind of help with the child to be a good digital citizen.
Dr. Kellep Charles, once again, thank you for being with us, and thank you for your insight and your just information. I appreciate that. All the best, my friend.
Anytime. And again, thank you for having me on, and have a great day.
Before there was Xbox, before PlayStation, before Nintendo, there was the Fairchild Channel F. That's the first ever home video game system with removable cartridges. Gerald Lawson sparked this revolution back in 1976. His invention allowed gamers a chance to play a variety of games without having to purchase multiple systems. It also gave video game manufacturers a way to earn additional profits by selling individual game cartridges. By the way, that's a business model that still exists to this day. Gerald Lawson was born December 1st, 1940 in Brooklyn, New York. He died April 9th, 2011 in Santa Clara, California. A month prior to his passing, he was honored as an industry pioneer by the International Game Developers Association. I had a great time with our guest today. Hope you did too. This is All Things Men. As always, I'm your host, Mark McEwen. I'll see you next time.